Give second, third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance, sixth chance, seventh chance, eighth chance, ninth chance, 10 chance, 100 chances. Umfana ndiyamnika. Ndincengele na inzoidza that much. And sakwatiswa yini ba undinyathele konsini. No honey. Who are you? A relationship. Mdasekhaya. I tolerate. I distance myself from family. They keep hurting you. Kona nge English don't. Okay. Oh, by the way, as you know, I always have something to drink. I'm having green tea with honey in my favorite cup. If you want to know who Letitia is, a few words that describes me, these are the words that describe me. I got this cup from a colleague. But anyway, it's not about the cup and it's not about the green tea and it's not about my colleagues. Let's get into the video. My name is Shubazam. Welcome to my YouTube channel once again. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Letitia K. If it is your first time on this channel, you are definitely welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, returning watcher, thank you very much for coming back. But also make sure you're not just the returning watcher, make sure you are a returning subscriber. So please do click on that subscribe button. Make sure that you do like, you do comment, and you share this video. So on today's video, we're talking about struggling to forgive and to forget. We're talking about a topic that is quite difficult and a bit tricky. The thing is, everyone talks about forgiveness like it's easy. And I am struggling when it comes to forgiving and forgetting. It becomes very tricky. But this is not a how-to guide. This is just me discussing and kind of like sharing my struggle. Hoping that there is other people that are struggling with the same thing. And we're just going to share the struggle of forgiving and forgetting. When it comes to forgiving and forgetting, there's this thing of wanting peace, but then you're still holding on to the pain. You want peace, but you're still holding on to the pain. I don't know if you get. The thing is that in your heart, you want to forgive. You want to forgive, but your mind keeps replaying the incident. It keeps replaying whatever happened, that you can't let go of it because it's still going through your mind. Basically, it's the mind, whereas in your heart you want to let go, but because it keeps replaying, obviously every time you think about it, whatever emotions that you were feeling, they're going to be triggered, and then it's going to come back, and you're going to struggle with finding peace with whatever happened. And what people don't understand is that betrayal runs really deep, or hurt runs really deep. It's not a light thing. When someone betrays your trust, and someone hurts your feelings, they do something that destroys you emotionally and mentally. It's not something that you're gonna wake up tomorrow and then you move on and then you forget. It's not something that words can take it back. There's no way that you can turn back time and say, I'm sorry, and that just the words of I'm sorry removes everything and changes everything. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen like that. And I'm recalling times where, when we're talking about betrayal, mostly in friendship, where I had to cut off a person that I loved so much. I love this person as my friend, but I had to cut her off because the betrayal, there was just no going back to it. And I like that I did it peacefully. At least I did it peacefully because I did communicate with the friend that, friend, you did this and it hurt me. I didn't like it. Therefore, do not be surprised when I am not the same towards you, because I was not going to hate her. I was not going to stop talking to her. But because of the betrayal and the hurt, I could not continue having the same relationship and being the same friend with her or to her anymore. Forgiveness it can literally be so heavy, especially when there's lack of accountability, when there is no apology, when the person keeps repeating the same thing, they keep hurting you, the pattern continues, there's no change. like it becomes so heavy. The fear that you have that the person will hurt you again, the fear that the person will betray you again, and the person that the fact that the person might just do the same thing again is what also makes the forgiveness part so heavy. And the thing is, forgiveness is seen as moving on. Like when you have to forgive someone, it's expected that you have to move on from whatever happened. You have to move on from the consequences. And it's not as simple as people expect it to be, that if someone uyakona and uyaxolisa, that what has to happen is that you have to let it go and move on and forget about it and forgive and forget and be okay and go back to normal, like just the word of I'm sorry, and then everything goes back to normal. And sometimes, like I mentioned, what makes it hard is that people struggle with taking accountability, and people sometimes you don't even get an apology, and there's an expectation that if someone, you have to forgive the person without the person asking for forgiveness. And that's even worse. You expect me to forgive myself. I must forgive that person with no accepting responsibility, no communication, no accountability, no words to show that that person realized what they have actually done to me, and I have to move on. How do I move on? Because I'm hurt by what happened. I'm hurt by what the person did. I'm hurt by what my friend said. I'm hurt by what my friend did. I'm hurt by what my family member, my cousin, my aunt, my sister, my brother did or said, my colleague said, what my neighbor said or did, what my partner said or did. I can't just move on without any accountability. I can't even take the first step. And I know people saying, oh, forgiving brings peace and happiness to yourself. Once again, it is not that just simple that if you're going to forgive someone without them apologizing, it's going to bring you peace. No, for me, it doesn't happen like that. Like with me, guys, I hold on. I have realized that because you don't forget, you can't really forgive. For as long as you don't forget, you're not really forgiving. Until you forget, you haven't forgiven. And the thing with me, I don't forget. I might forget the details of what happened, how and what was said, the exact words that were said. I might forget the exact action. I might have amnesia of the situation, but one thing that I will never forget, that never goes away, is how I felt. It's the betrayal, it's the hurt. That feeling I cannot forget. And because I can't forget that, I can't forgive, because it's always going to be there that you hurt me. And one thing about me, I can't pretend or try to move on by shutting the whole thing, just shut it out and continue the next day as if nothing happened. I can't do that. I can pretend as if I've forgiven, I've passed it. But with me, never. I haven't forgiven, I haven't forgotten. I'm just choosing short-term peace. Peaceful, okay, you know what? I'm not in the mood to be arguing. I'm not in the mood to be discussing this situation. And what I'm going to choose to do is let it lie for now. I can come back after a year. One thing about me, one thing I'm ningabuya after unyaka. Ndithi yazi wena, mini kwakuthe kwathi wandikhubekisa. Or yazi ndeva ba wena wathi ndakhubeka. Or wena uthe kum elagama ulithetha kum landilimaza, therefore ndinengxaki nawe, or ana agenda, I'm hurt by what you did. That is me. I might not address Indo, but I'm gonna be hurt, but I'm still gonna continue as if nothing happened, because another thing, we all deal with situations differently. Other people will address it and move on. Some people will not address it at all, but they'll still genuinely move on, even though it's there in the back of their mind, but they'll move on and not bring it up again. But then there's me. Whether I bring it up, whether I don't bring it up, it's still gonna be there. Yeah. And it will always come back the next time you do something, say something, do something again, you betray me again, you say hurtful words, you talk about me awfully, whatever wrongdoing, nje, the moment you do it again, kuvuka leya last time, na leya before last time, neya before the last time, ibe ngaka, ungayenza into encinci ngoku, undinyathele ngemistake, ndizovusa lani ba wawundithukile, nalani ba wawundihlebile, nalani ba wawundi-insultile. Andisakwatiswa yini ba undinyathele konsini. It's because andikadluli. And most of the time people would get shocked ba i-anger engaka isuka for such a small thing. It's because you hurt me, I never forgave you, and I did not forgive, definitely did not forget. I know that it's not right because I don't like being angry. I honestly do not like to see myself in a situation or in that state of being angry. I honestly don't like it because I'm a very angry person. Oh, anger. My 15-year-old sister will keep telling me, anger problems. I am an angry person. I can get upset. I snap quick when I do snap. But if I don't snap, at this point, I don't know what is more. I feel like what's more dangerous is when I keep quiet. You do something to me, you pretend as if you didn't do anything. Undibukele ndithule ndikuyeke ngexesha ubona bondonile, undibukele undiyeke ndithule. Oh, mntasekhaya, I think that's more dangerous than undone. And then I speak up now, ndikuphoxa ba ndiyakuphoxa, undixelele isigezo ndikuphoxe ngoku and respond right now. Put you in your place, same time. But even if I put you on your place, same time, I will still not forgive and forget. And that's the actual problem I have. I do agree, it's a problem. I know it's a problem. And do I want to change? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, because I feel like that is what actually helps me to create boundaries. Me not forgiving and forgetting, it's how I create boundaries, because the biggest thing I fear is allowing you to do it again and again and again. So for me to not allow you to do it again and again, let me not forgive and forget, because the next time utsathu yazama undiza sideways, I am already ready for you. Like shashalaza same time. So for me, that's how I create boundaries. And at times, like I said, it would surprise certain people. It would surprise people because it will feel like it's out of nowhere, but it's not out of nowhere. You've been making nasty comments, you've been making remarks, you've been talking about me negatively, you've been doing things, you've been betraying me, and I've either been keeping quiet or addressing it, and you're still not stopping. So yeah, it's very tricky. It's not my frequency. I do feel guilty for not forgiving. Remember, and the Bible that I read preaches about forgiveness. And I know it's something that I do mention in my prayer. Ndicela inhliziyo ethambileyo, ndicela inhliziyo exolayo, nexolelayo. I do. But then when I'm not on my knees and praying and I'm in the situation or thinking about the situation, I actually want to forgive. But then when I'm in that moment and in those thoughts and remembering the things that have been done, the hurt overpowers my intentions of healing and the guilt that I will feel after a few days or few hours. Of actually, I feel guilty. I want to be able to forgive, but then I can't. This then raises a question of, can I still be a good person even though I don't forgive or I can't forgive? Can I still be good to a person even if I haven't forgiven them. Some might say, how can you be a good person when you don't forgive and forget? How are you good to a person if you haven't forgiven them and forgot what they've done to you? But like I said, that's how I deal with it, because I will choose to let it go now with the hopes that you won't do it again. I'll keep quiet with the hopes that you won't do it again. I won't address it with the hopes that you won't do it again. And I will do it for peace sake. I honestly let things slide for peace sake, but it doesn't mean that I'm not hurt, and it does not mean that I've forgiven and I forgot that you've done such a thing or you said a hurtful thing. Yeah, but I genuinely feel that it does not make me a bad person just because I don't forgive and I don't forget. It's just how I deal with hurt, and that's how I deal with betrayal. And I know it myself. I'd rather distance myself from a person that hurt me. Oh, mtasekhaya. Family. Oh, I distance myself from family. I don't even give them second and third chance. In fact, some family members, I don't even give the opportunity to get a first chance to hurt or to betray me. When it comes to friendships, I try to give it a try. But the moment I realize, red flag, I'm gone. The only thing and my biggest struggle is when it comes to a relationship. Oh, mtasekhaya, I tolerate and I tolerate and I tolerate. But I don't forgive, I don't forget. But that's the only relationship where I tolerate betrayal, I tolerate hurt. Family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, none of that. I don't compromise. I just don't compromise. And it's not something that I plan. And yes, noma that much. But then that's the only part in my life that I'll allow a lot of things to happen and give second, third chance, fourth chance, fifth chance, sixth chance, seventh chance, eighth chance, ninth chance, 10 chance, 100 chances. Umfana ndiyamnika andixokisele betrayal. Hey, list man. Hey, God, I don't forgive, I don't forget. And when it comes to relationship, that's where it creates a little bit of toxicity, because I'll keep bringing that thing up. You may apologize after 1 year when you do something similar or you do something again. I'll remind you, and it becomes a problem. So that's where it becomes a problem with not forgetting, because I don't really let go. And that's where it's not good, and that's where it creates guilt. But I'm not a bad person, because when you do something, you can't expect me to wipe away or wipe off or have amnesia of the actions and how your actions made me feel, how your words made me feel. In fact, yo sithi sona ngokucinga ngokuthetha sigqibele ngokwenza. Ukona nge-English yintoni? You wrong someone by thinking, by speaking, and lastly by action, by actually doing something. Undonile, there's no way we can turn back time and wipe it away. And that's another issue I have when it comes to forgiving and forgetting. People feel entitled that because the Bible says you must forgive, and there's an expectation that you must forgive and forget and move on, then they want you forgive and forget ngekwe timeline yabo or yakhe. So the person that did you wrong will now expect that you must deal with the situation and move on within a certain period or certain time, whereas you can't still be hurt a year later. You're still hurt by that situation. No, honey. Who are you to dictate how long it should take me to heal from the betrayal, to heal from the lies? Who are you to measure ukuthi how much should I be hurt, or how little or how big I should be affected by what you've done? Because when someone hurts you, it literally affects a lot of things. If it was a matter of someone making a comment about your body image, that thing is going to stick for years. You're going to feel uncomfortable in your body. You're going to feel uncomfortable in your crowd. You're going to then have a low self-esteem, even if you maybe weren't having a low self-esteem, but you're just not going to feel okay anymore. And that thing is going to have a ripple effect. What was said is said, and it has consequences in eziphumo, and you can't take it back, and you can't decide that, I apologize, deal with it, move on. You can't umuntu ade benesibini sokuthi hayibo uyazazi nje ba yena lento ndiyithethayo ayonyani ke ngoku kutheni imkhathaza xaba akakwazi nokungixolela ayilibale njani amagama wakhuphile out there. You can't waginya back, you can't swallow the words back. Therefore you can't give people a timeline and dictate ukuthi how hurt should they be. And that's my thing. And I think that's what makes me more upset and what makes it harder to forgive, because people are not sensitive to the consequence of their actions. They are not sensitive to the consequences of their words. What you said has ruined my self-esteem. It has, maybe I'm no longer, if I used to talk a lot, now I'm not going to speak a lot. Whenever I speak, I'm going to be scared to speak, because when or whatever, you were commenting negatively about my personality when it comes to me speaking, ndithetha too much. Every time I speak, ndizobanalando yoba yunkosi yam asba andithethi too much na yo khathi ngithule. You find yourself uthule, but because awungomntu othuleyo, wena ungumuntu open othanda uthetha, you'll never be the same again. So people don't realize that the moment you spew words, there's no taking them back. You just have to deal with the consequences. If it takes that person 10 years to forgive and forget, allow them to heal ngokwe timeline yabo. Even if it's after 10 years, do not dictate. It is really upsetting, especially the part where people want to decide how you should deal with the hurt. Not with the response or the reaction, because sometimes people say something and they react to what you said back, pendule back. Well, that's on me, but what you made me feel, you cannot have a say on how I feel. You can't have a say on, then you get me. Exactly, Cho. You know what, if I was someone that ebethandubala, like I've read up on this thing of forgiving and forgetting. Like I've said, I do feel the guilt of not forgiving and forgetting. It's not that and phony, I'll never forgive, I will never forget. No, the guilt is there, but then it is something that I'm struggling with, because like I've said, that's my coping mechanism, and that's how I deal with people that like to take advantage and like to cross lines. That's how I deal with them. Like, I'm not gonna forget what you did, so that the next time uzamu futhi already senthe qaba, okay, wena ngulo ugezayo, or wena ngulo thetha kanje ngulo betrayer, so let me keep my distance, let me not respond, let me not discuss certain things with you, because yabo, that's why I don't forget. But anyway, I believe I've read that journaling helps when you write down the emotions, like what you felt, what was done. Writing exactly how you feel helps. But unfortunately, I am not good with journaling. I haven't even tried it, because I know I can't pen down my thoughts. I can't write down my thoughts. They don't help. What does help me is to talk to myself. Oh, mna ndiyathetha ndedwa. Yabona njengoba ndihlala no sister wam apha, uyawuthi ebuya esikolweni ngena apha ndibhizi, ndisula itafile, ndiyathetha. That's how I journal. I journal verbally ngokuyithetha mna, so that ndiziva I'll have a whole dialogue with the person that did whatever they did to me. Ndilishane naye ngoku ngekhoyo phambi kwam. Kodwa le nto uyenzileyo uba bendinoyenza kuwe buzayithanda njani, ayikho shame. No, sukuthi uxolo, ngoba uxolo lulodwa aluncedi into uyithethile. Next time yenza sure uba uyayicinga into ethile before uyenze, before you that is me. I can't journal. Ndiyathetha ndedwa nosista wam adade ndizoshiya zingqondo, but that's my way of putting whatever I'm feeling, ndiyikhuphe from my heart and engqondo yam. Instead of writing, I'll speak it. There was a time, I think I was still in varsity, I would make voice notes on my phone. The conversation that I'll have out loud, instead of writing, I'll speak and I'll have a recording on my phone. And I'll address the person on the recording and I'll respond to myself on the recording. That's how I was kind of helping myself with just releasing the anger, releasing the emotions. Like I said, I'm an angry person. You might not realize that I'm upset. Mna ndiyakwazi ukuthula ngoku ndenze into ndihleke ndiveze lokugqibela, but xa ndigqibothula uhleka ndiqomba ngiqhala kakubi wena. Uyandiqhala kodwa. Uyahlekisa shem. That is me. Very dangerous. I know. Nam ndiyazoyika. Yazi laa nto yoba uzoyike umntu uzoyike. Uthi wozijonga, uthi wozimamela ingqondo, uthi woyiva inhliziyo yakho uqomba ndiyazoyika. I fear myself. That is me. When someone upsets me, betrays me, hurts me, ndijike ndizoyike mna myself. But I actually want to say to anyone struggling with the same thing, you're not weak for not forgiving and forgetting. You're not weak. That's just how you deal with it. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. I know a lot of people get upset at the fact that they get upset with themselves that they're still holding on to the thoughts of what was said. They're still holding on to what was done to them. They're still holding on to the fact that they can't forgive. Don't be too hard on yourself at the fact that you're not forgiving. You can deal with it the way you deal with it, but do not already the person upset you, they've already hurt you. Upin was hurted by the fact that uzifakeli pressure yoba mandide ndimxolele. If awukakabikho ready for umxolela, awukakabikho ready, you're allowed to not forgive ngoku ungekabikho ready. Do not force yourself. I feel like that. I know I said this is not a how-to video. This is just what I'm sharing. Therefore, I'm not, as much as I'm telling you ba suku yenza into ongakafuni yenza. It's, but then I will not force myself to forgive. I will not force myself to forget. If a person hurts me and they're not happy at the fact that I'm still not over it, ungamane mntasekhaya uzikhathe wena self off from me, because andizozingcungcuthekisa with i-pressure yokuxolela ne-pressure yolibala. Meanwhile, when you're most probably over it, you've moved on with life, it hasn't affected you at all, and here I am dealing with what you said, and I must also deal with the fact that I haven't forgiven you for what you have said. Oh no, Mdagaput. Be okay with the fact that you haven't figured it out. I'm okay with the fact that honestly okay with the fact that I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm not saying I'm not willing to take any action, but I am okay with the fact that I haven't figured it out yet. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm trying. I'm trying my way, pace yam and my pace, and I'm good with that. I'm honestly good with that. So all I want to say, if you're struggling to forgive and forget, do not be hard on yourself. Do it your way, pace yako, and don't allow this narrative that in order for you to find peace, you have to forgive someone that hasn't even taken accountability, or you have to forgive just because they say the words I'm sorry with no actions. Also, apologies with no actions. Don't do that to yourself. I will not do that to myself. So far with my progress, I am happy. Yeah, I'd like to have faster progress, but this is it, and I'm fine with it. I'm okay, I'm fine. I know it's not good. Like I've said, the guilt is there, but I'm okay with it because it works for me. I would like you to share if you are also struggling with forgiving in the comment section, and tell me what is the biggest reason for you to not forgive and easily forget. I would like you to share that with me. But thank you very much to listening to my another kind of like a vent session of mine, another struggle of mine. Thank you so much for listening. Please do not forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe on this video. Bye.